July 4, 1978, 12-year-old David Freeman enters the woods to pick up his 8-year-old brother, Jeff. His dog starts acting up and tries to stop him. He still proceeds forward. Jeff jump scares him in the woods. David falls into a ravine and is knocked unconscious. He wakes up after some time and goes back home. He knocks on the door and finds a stranger lady who tells him that he got the wrong house. He runs inside the house, looking for his parents. He finds another old person inside. He starts crying. The old couple calls the police. At the station, his description matches with a missing person report, filed 8 years ago. He has been declared legally dead. The cops take him to his parents. Meanwhile, NASA is investigating a crashed alien spaceship at the power lines. David meets Jeff, who is now 16 years old. Jeff apologizes to him for the jump scare. Jeff shows him the missing person poster. He tells David that 8 years have passed since that night. The doctors want to run some tests on him, so he has to stay at the hospital. NASA transports the spaceship to their facility. David wakes up at night and tells Jeff that a voice is calling him, but he can't understand much. Hospital tests on David reveals images of spaceship in his brainwaves. Dr. Faraday looks at the image from David's brain. He invites David to NASA, only for 48 hours, to help them understand what happened. They take him into a room at NASA. At NASA, they do further tests on him. They ask his name, and he answers by directly communicating with computers. They ask his whereabouts for last 8 years, and on screen it says, in analysis mode on Phelan. They ask him what powers the spacecraft, and some alien writing show up on the screen. They ask how far is Phelan from Earth, and it says 560 light years, and it took 2.2 solar hours to get there. David has been traveling faster than the speed of light for 4.4 hours, which means 8 years passed on Earth, while he hasn't aged a day. Phelan is located in an uncharted territory of space. One of the staff members, Carolyn, arrives to deliver food to David. She tells him that they're planning to keep David for the entire week. He gets upset and starts shouting. Carolyn calms him down. He asks Carolyn to talk to his parents, to which she agrees. David starts hearing the voice again. The voice is asking him for help. A robotic assistant, Ralph Unit, enters the room. The voice tells him to get in the unit. Ralph takes him to the location where the spaceship is being kept. As David approaches the spaceship, it opens up and forms a stair. David enters it. The voice asks David to sit down and calls him by the name, Navigator. David has the information required by the voice to complete the mission. The voice tells him that his brain was programmed with all the appropriate star charts. Staff notices the spaceship open. They lock down the facility. Dr. Faraday arrives. David asks the voice to close the door. The ship breaks the chains and leaves the facility. David asks the voice to take the ship 20 miles from here. The ship takes him 20 miles into space. He asks to be taken back. David starts controlling the spaceship by giving commands to the voice. David gets off the ship to take a piss. The voice explains that his mission is to gather life samples from different galaxies. It chose David from Earth. Humans only use 10% of the brain, so it filled it all up with star charts. In doing so, the information started leaking. When the ship crashed, the star charts got erased, and now the voice needs David for the charts. Normally, the voice or the alien take the specimens back to the exact place and time they take them from. But it was too dangerous for the human body to travel back in time. NASA arrives with the helicopters. The alien asks David to give him the star charts, and in return it will take him home. David asks the voice to take him somewhere where they can't find them. It takes him underwater, into the ocean. David sees other life forms that the ship has collected. David grabs one of the creatures. It is angry because he can't go home, as its planet was destroyed by a comet. The voice starts transferring data from David's brain. During transfer, the voice accidentally transfers human emotions too, and starts behaving like one. It takes the ship into space. The voice says the ship crashed because it was looking at some flowers. They start arguing, and the voice gets angry and shuts off the ship. It starts falling. David starts pressing random buttons, and one of them causes the ship to start. David starts navigating the ship. Meanwhile, Carolyn visits David's dad and tells him everything. Having tracked Carolyn, NASA staff visits David's house. They take Carolyn away and lock David's family inside the house. David takes the ship to Tokyo, mistaking it for Miami. They visit the Golden Gate Bridge next. Not knowing where to go, they stop a car to ask for directions. The people in car get scared and drive away. The voice picks up radio waves and starts playing music. David's family sees news of UFO sightings on different continents. The ship arrives in Florida. David gets off the ship and asks for change to phone his parents. David tells Jeff to give him a signal that he can see in air, so he can come back home. David grabs a map and gets on the ship. They follow the map to go back to his place. Jeff lights up firecracker on the roof of his house. David sees the crackers and drives towards it. He sees the NASA security and police cars at his house. Fearing that NASA will keep him as their guinea pig, David asks the voice to take him back to 1978, knowing all the risks. Accepting the risk of vaporization, they travel back to 1978. David wakes up in the ravine and goes back home to his parents, looking for him. He meets up with now younger Jeff. Jeff sees the alien creature in David's backpack. David asks him to keep it a secret. The movie ends with the family watching the 4th of July celebrations. Like and subscribe for more videos like these.